On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style. Hope everybody out there's having themselves a great day. These two have made fools of themselves. They're trying to backpedal away from it majorly, of course. I think we're calling it a handkerchief. I won't bury that lead too far, don't worry. A lot of interesting stuff coming out around finances, around the trade agreements. I think the stock market's probably going to have a big start. Also, Trump's teasing a big tweet. I'm hoping it happens while I'm filming, because as of so far, he's teased it. It hasn't happened yet. So we'll see what that's going to be. Very interesting. Would be funny if it was the storm is upon us, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think a lot of people are hoping. So let's see. Let's take a quick check and see if it's come out yet. Nope. My next truth will be the one, the most important ever. So we're going to pull this all the way down, and we'll check again at the end and see if we get lucky on that one. All said, Tennessee, earthquake, 4.1 magnitude, about 30 miles south of Knoxville, out there in East Tennessee, which is really close to my stomping grounds back in the day. So very interesting. 4.1 out in that part of the world. That's a pretty big earthquake. That probably scared the crap out of a bunch of people. Big enough to feel, that's for sure. Pretty small still in the scheme of things, but in places that aren't used to them and places that don't build for them, they are a bit more scary. A Soviet-era spacecraft, it did in fact plunge to the Earth on Saturday. It landed in the Indian Ocean, or crashed into the Indian Ocean. It was, 75% chance it was going to land in water. It did in fact land in water, so it's good. Nobody had any footage of it. Apparently it dropped off radar from the German radar. Anyway, they were able to more or less figure out it went down in the Pacific somewhere, or Indian Ocean. Also, this thing was a titanium sphere that weighed about 1,000 pounds. So, yeah, probably a lot of it withstood re-entry. Whatever the case is, we fortunately are safer. Weird stuff coming out around Epstein. Really weird stuff. So Marjorie Taylor Greene posted this. She goes, she said, Epstein files likely destroyed, claims Israel and UK still hold remaining evidence, believes he didn't kill himself. Now, I believe most of that too, but the evidence being destroyed probably as well, because they don't want these people to be, the bad guys don't want this coming out. Jesse Waters did a pretty brilliant take on this. About 4+ minutes, but it's very good. Check this out.
Pedophile Jeffrey Epstein was arrested. So why do we still know nothing about him? Well, we're finding out tonight some answers. The Wall Street Journal just got its hands on Jeffrey Epstein's private calendar, and it was a lot more suspicious than Brett Kavanaugh's. Epstein was meeting with the kind of people you'd think would steer clear of a convicted pedophile. Jeffrey Epstein was meeting with one of Barack Obama's top lawyers, Catherine Rumler. She met with Epstein dozens of times. Epstein even tried to set up Obama's lawyer to work for Bill Gates. How is Jeffrey Epstein a fixer between Obama's lawyer and Bill Gates? Epstein was also meeting with Joe Biden's CIA director. He wasn't CIA director at the time. He was Barack Obama's deputy secretary of state. William Burns was working for John Kerry at the State Department and meeting with Jeffrey Epstein, a known pedophile. And then Burns becomes CIA director. Today's director of the CIA went to Epstein's Manhattan townhouse where Epstein had sex with underage girls and, where he filmed other men having sex with underage girls. And William Burns went there and was then promoted to the director of the CIA. Now, I wonder if the future CIA director saw the portrait of Bill Clinton in a blue dress hanging in Epstein's parlor room. A few years later, Epstein was arrested and then hung himself in a jail cell while security cameras just happened to not be working and the replacement guards just happened to fall asleep. And 2 years later, Biden just happens to pick William Burns to run the CIA. So what are we supposed to think? It's never been more clear. Epstein was an intelligence asset. Not only was he working for the CIA, Israeli intelligence, maybe even Russia intelligence. So was the American government allowing an asset to traffic and molest teenage girls all over the world for intelligence? Were we allowing Epstein to commit crimes against children for blackmail material? Well, we asked the CIA director, William Burns, why were you meeting with a convicted pedophile at his disgusting townhouse? And the CIA director said this: the director did not know anything about him, other than that he was introduced as an expert in the financial services sector and offered general advice on transition to the private sector. They had no relationship. So Obama's State Department official couldn't have asked anybody else in the entire country for help with a job in finance? He could have called any CEO, any hedge fund manager, any banking director. But he meets with Jeffrey Epstein, a guy that doesn't even really have a real business, a guy that doesn't even have a website, a guy that, as far as we know, only had one client, the CEO of Victoria's Secret. That doesn't add up, Bernsey. And this explains the sweetheart deal back in 2006. This explains the prison cell cover-up. And this explains why all the Epstein tapes went missing. Everything Epstein recorded, everything, missing. Every property he owned. But when he died, the Fed seized all the tapes, and the only person who's ever been arrested since then was the Madam, Maxwell.
Jeffrey Epstein found me almost immediately. He knew exactly where I was, the location. And I knew then that I was being filmed. I was being watched 24/7. There were cameras all over the island.
So the CIA has all the sex tapes, and they've been blackmailing like crazy. This is the blackmail jackpot. Hours of video starring the world's most important people in Epstein Island, in the Manhattan townhouse, and the Palm Beach estate, and the New Mexico ranch. Bill Clinton was good pals with Jeffrey. Flew on the Lolita Express 26 times. Went to his private island. So when someone does something that doesn't make any sense, maybe it's because they don't want to be doing what they're doing. Maybe it's because someone's telling them what to do and threatening to release the tapes if they don't.
And many have to wonder, was Bill Clinton trying to get people there? Was that a big part of why he went there so many times? Because he would invite his buddies and get them tied up, or tightened down, if you will. You got to wonder. I mean, again, we all think Clinton was a dirty bastard, and yeah, most likely was taking advantage of this stuff too. I think this rabbit hole is one that I think a lot of us think we understand it, but I mean, we don't. And their inability to get this information out quickly or easily or at all is obviously emblematic of the larger problem, right? Like, there's something going on. I mean, we're going to keep following it, obviously. I mean, I will be honest, I pretty much don't care about the Diddy case at all. Like, eventually stuff will happen and I'll report on it, but there's so much stupid crap that every day they're like, oh, the Diddy thing. Who cares? But Epstein, oh, hell, yeah, that's a big deal. That's a big deal, because the people that are tied up with that's going to be your businessmen, your Congress members, like stuff like that, judges. That's where those types of people, they're seldom going to be at Diddy parties, though we'll, I'm sure, find a wonderful amount of them. But that's going to be more your musicians, your sports people, stuff like that, right? Those are the people that were going to be involved with the Diddy stuff. Epstein's who we really want to pay attention to. Now, I just want you guys to pay attention in this video, in this little section here. I'll make this bigger. It'll be easier to tell. But this little quote-unquote handkerchief is what they're calling it. But the way he grabs it, the way these guys are acting, I think it's pretty reasonable to assume, don't know for sure, but it's reasonable to assume that it's cocaine.
Oh, it's a long walk. I'll be back in Poland.
And through my bathroom, huh?
Yeah? It's literally. We came through Germany, and then we made it to France.
German bedroom, and
we got through the border.
Right.
Make a photo, and after that you will be allowed to have a drink.
Yeah.
Well, that was discreet there, Macron. That was discreet indeed, wasn't it? Now, what's also interesting, and I don't know if she's in this room, but she shows up here, and I think anybody that's ever been around anybody that uses this type of stuff, you'll recognize it.
Sweet mustache. You'll be right. You're probably out of shot over there. Okay. Everyone's ready to go? Great. Okay, who wants to kick off?
You are so bloody geeked up right now, woman. Oh, Lord. Or man, I'm not sure, frankly. Whatever. Yeah, so we'll see. Trump admin is accepting a palace in the sky. I don't understand this. First off, like, if you don't build the plane from the ground up, how would you ever trust there's not stuff on it that's tracking you? Granted, I think there's probably stuff they can do to tell, but then most of the technology is meant to try to counter that, right? So, man, how do you buy a jet or given as a gift? It's a Boeing 747-8 series from Qatar's royal family, and they're giving it to Trump to help out. Now, it's gorgeous inside. I mean, these pictures, holy crap, right? Like, it's beautiful. And it's that upper area is super long in this guy, too. So, again, beautiful plane. I don't know, what could happen. I know Trump is pissed at Boeing right now because he's not been able to get them to finish Air Force One as quickly as it needs to be. And so he's actually, I think, going to have this refitted using this company. I forgot the name of them, L3 Harris Technologies, expecting to have it done in fall, which I think is also going to time into a lot of interesting things as well. Again, a lot of us are talking about how right now Trump's getting his house in order before we actually charge. And that can be taken in a lot of ways. So I think we are getting our house in order. I do think there's still some issues that need to be reconciled, and I think are working towards that. And then I think things like Epstein and stuff like that can actually start to happen. I think this is just unfortunately emblematic. Here I am with an itchy nose watching all those guys tweaking out there. It's kind of emblematic of the left, unfortunately. 80% of liberal Americans want Elon Musk thrown in prison. This is a Rasmussen poll, so, take it for what it's worth. Rasmussen's reasonably good, but 71% of Democrats want Elon Musk in prison just because he led Doge. And again, these are the ones that are screaming that Trump has weaponized law enforcement or weaponized the branch of or executive branch against people. It's like, how do you guys literally think that way? I know you guys, but how do people on the left literally ignore everything they do? It's one of the weirdest things to me. I cannot figure it out for the life of me, but 71% of Democrats would love to put Musk in jail. America's largest grid operator warns of summer power shortages. I think Trump is going to be smart and probably have some potential coal-fired stuff maybe able to be fired up. But sometimes, again, if a system goes down because you go too heavily on renewables, and I really do think that's what happened in the Portugal-Spain thing, it becomes very hard to spin up enough momentum in generators to get enough of them going because they're heavy as hell. It takes a lot of energy to get them going. Once they get going, then you can kind of keep running them. But then you need enough of them to stabilize the grid so that you can bring other things back online. So this, and happening in New York and this part of the world, everybody out there is so brainwashed and wants to be green, with the exception of the people that are forced to live out there. So they're talking about how they're likely going to have too much demand in the summer. And, they're going to have power outages. Now, again, it's funny is they know this problem has been happening, and we've been talking about this for years. The Biden administration and everybody under the green sun is trying to save us all, but has no intention of actually dealing with the fact that we don't have enough power. There's this nonsense belief, I think, amongst most green people that, oh, no, we can totally do it with wind and solar and stuff. Absolutely. And then, Portugal and Spain, that, and many other parts got affected by that. But that wasn't large enough, right? That wasn't scary enough for them to be like, ooh, maybe we should think this through, which you should, especially when we got the potentiality of thorium reactors possibly being very clean versions of nuclear that doesn't require uranium or plutonium, right? So that's a good thing. I think it's typically uranium, right? Whatever. So yeah, they're concerned. They're concerned, just to say the least. Biden is pissing everybody off. He keeps showing up. I think it's funny. And people are actually starting to wonder, is he literally trying to just deliberately screw with the Democrats? I doubt it. I know a lot of people would be like, nah, man, this is a movie. He's doing this. He's an actor. I'm like, probably, but I think this guy's actually an idiot. And I think he's literally so egomaniacal that he can't let it go. You know, he wants to run around and claim that he didn't lose. Donald Trump's demonstrating him to be the worst president ever. He's undoing everything that this guy did. And of course, he's like not surprised Harris lost, but he thinks he could have beat him. So again, just Democrats are very, very pissed at him, and it's pretty funny. He was on The View. It didn't go great. He had a bunch of nonsensical answers. Shouldn't surprise anybody. California's estimated $10 billion deficit, you know, because Gavin Newsom's so awesome, but it matches precisely the cost of the illegal immigrant healthcare system. All the drain on Medi-Cal, well, it's about $10 billion in the red because of all the illegal immigrants that are using it. We've got sanctuary cities in this state, sanctuary state for that matter. It's not looking out for its own citizens at all. In fact, it cares more about people that are here illegally. And now they're in a $10 billion deficit that I'm sure they expect us to pay higher taxes for. Yeah, Gavin Newsom, you really don't have any place to brag at all. You suck, and we'll make sure you never get elected anywhere again. But hopefully, too, we got that recall thing going on with him. Like, hopefully we can get rid of his punk arse, if you will. India offers major tariff cut to complete the trade deal with Trump. So some sweet deals happened there. Also, Trump said they had a really good meeting today in Switzerland with China, and they discussed a bunch, basically agreed to a bunch, and from what we understand, they made a deal, which I thought I had somewhere. But yeah, a deal was made, and we're expected to hear all the details of it basically tomorrow, Monday, today for some of you. Lutnick says he doesn't expect to see, he expects like a 10% baseline tariff to kind of stay in place. And I don't know if this is specifically around China, which could be the case, or just everyone in general. I don't think that's the case because I think China, if we make a good deal, I think they're still going to keep some form of tariff on them, just as a way of trying to keep people from staying there and maybe manufacture stuff here. I mean, that's really what Trump is trying to do. So that's what he's going to make an effort doing. Now, futures don't look as high as I was thinking they might. But I am expecting the stock market to open high, but it might be, and this might be why it's kind of chill, because they want to see what the actual deal is. But I don't know, the way the stock market's been lately, it's been so speculative that it's almost always like, well, we're assuming it's good, and then they find out it's not as good, then the stocks just tank, you know. So how this plays out, again, we'll talk about it tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun in that regard. Look, I don't think the system's good, guys. I don't want to spend a lot of time on my good friends at Gold Cove today. I'm just going to say, if you've got a 401k or an IRA, you're not necessarily in a safe system. It's very turbulent. It's very tumultuous. A lot of things are happening in the world. There's a lot of potential wars and other kinds of crazy things that are happening. There is a lot of the Epstein information that's likely going to come out. There's a lot of companies that are likely caught up in much of this. There's just a lot of craziness that's going on in the stock market. One of the cool things about diversifying out into precious metals, a precious metal 401k, if you will, or it's an IRA, precious metals IRA, is you theoretically could reinvest that back into stocks if you needed to at some point, like after the crazies happened. But again, I think it's one of those things where you don't want to kind of get caught with your hand in the cookie jar. And we are in a tough place. And nobody really knows what the hell's going on. Nobody knows what tariffs are actually going to do, probably benefit us, but we also understand things like the Fed need to somehow disappear. So, and we've got a lot of pension money tied up in the stock market, but the other problem with that is a lot of that pension money has been robbed. And Trump knows that too. So somehow keeping the stock market afloat while they can, or until they can prove where the maliciousness lies, which is ultimately, like I've said before, the system's got to change. It's got to come down. It's who gets blamed for it. That is the key. So we are definitely in changing times. This is one of the reasons why I think it's a good idea to diversify out into precious metals. Precious metals numbers are doing very well. It is actually, gold is the best asset to own right now. It's outperforming everything. It's done incredibly well. It's still expected to do the same. There's a lot of dollar fighting stuff. There's a whole lot. We're going to keep talking about it. Again, go to drslikesgold.com. drslikesgold.com. 4 data points. Get your free coin. You got a half-ounce collectible silver coin, 0.9999% pure. It's beautiful. Also got some other good free stuff. Up to 10% free silver, up to 10% of the face value of your 401k or IRA in free silver by hooking up with my good friends at Goldco. These guys are awesome. Best customer service you're going to get. You're going to get the Trump book. You're going to get your gold and silver kits. You're going to get a giant smile from me. It's fantastic. Go to drslikesgold.com, drslikesgold.com. Get out of that system before they get out of you, or before I mute myself, which, is definitely ironic. This is Thune talking about not wanting taxes to go up. I actually thought this was worth the 6 minutes. I think I didn't know much about Thune. I had heard a lot of negative things about him when he first got put in, right, when that was all happening. But ultimately, what I've watched with him, I kind of like. I like what I've seen. I don't know. I mean, again, I think they're trying to herd cats. I think I think him and Johnson have the hardest job because we've still got a bunch of uniparty people that do not want to see MAGA happen. They don't like it. There's still a lot of corrupt people in government. So how this happens is going to be interesting, but nonetheless.
Here from President Trump just moments ago. The problem with even a tiny tax increase for the rich, which I and all others would graciously accept in order to help lower and middle-income workers, is that the radical left Democrat lunatics would go around screaming, "Read my lips."
Which you said that about 10 minutes ago.
I did. I said it about 10 minutes ago. I don't think he's calling me a radical lunatic lefty. I hope not. The fabled quote by George Bush the Elder that is said to have cost him the election. No, Ross Perot cost the elder Bush the election. In any event, Republicans should probably not do it, but I'm okay if they do.
He just washed his hands of it. Does that mean the tax increase for the
and let's talk about it.
Is off the table?
Senator, I understand the rationale to some extent. And did you see Senator Cruz, I'm sorry, joining us now. People, if you don't know Senator Thune, then that this is the majority leader of the whole U.S. Senate of South Dakota. Leader Thune, thanks for joining us. Anyway,
thanks, Joe. Always to be with you.
Jumped the gun, started
no worries.
Like everybody knows who you are, which I think they do. When Senator Cruz was on yesterday, Senator Ted Cruz from the great state of Texas, I'll do everything. He said there are factions in this administration. There are populist factions and there are less populist factions at this point. And the president wants to help, I think, working class people. Look at the tariffs, look at all these things. The case could be made that maybe some redistribution or some movement on who pays the lion's share of taxes, maybe you could reallocate some. Is this the right way to do it, to go back to 39.6 on high earners?
Well, I don't want to see taxes go up on anybody, Joe. I mean, we're all about lowering taxes, not raising taxes. But I do think the president, he's not a conventional president. People didn't vote for a conventional president, and I think his policies reflect that. And I think the people around him understand what he's trying to achieve here. And that is, if you look at what he's proposing, there's particular emphasis on working Americans. Hence, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, trying to lower taxes on people who are on Social Security. The people who are out there trying to make a living in this country. And I think a lot of his tax policies will reflect that. All these things that are being proposed right now, and of course this is going to originate, this all starts in the House of Representatives, they're going to have to figure out how to dial this and to make it fit within the parameters that are out there. The one thing you want to make sure you do is on the business side, make sure that those, bonus depreciation, interest deductibility, R&D expensing, the president's proposed expensing for factories, for domestic manufacturing, which would be very stimulative, get growth in the economy. And that was the whole goal in 2017, lower rates, faster cost recovery, and I think it worked. And I think that's what we want to do now. And I think it's important that those provisions at least be made permanent so that businesses can plan around them.
My main problem was that so many businesses, there's only 5% of businesses are C Corps. So if you raise the personal rate back to 39.6, you're hitting all the small businesses, or many of the small businesses. But is it possible to exempt small businesses from a raise in the top rate? If you could do that, I like you, would be less.
Well, and if you do, what does that mean for the revenue that you bring in as a result? How much money do you
when
get?
you're all the way up at $2.5 million instead of in the when they lowered that top rate, what was the top rate, 300,000 or something?
Yeah.
I mean, now we're all the way up to 2.5, 5 for joint.
Yeah, I've seen 2.5 and 5. I've seen 5 and 10. I've seen different proposals out there, but I do think that you'd have, and they're talking about if they this were to happen, carving out pass-through businesses. As you point out, they're 96% of the businesses in this country. The one thing, of course, pass-throughs want is they want to keep their 199A deduction, the 20% deduction that was written into the 2017 bill. But as you look at what's currently in law, all of it expiring at the end of the year. On the business side, what you want is growth. You want pro-growth policies. When the economy is growing and expanding, it's creating better paying jobs. People are making money, taking realizations, and paying taxes. And tax revenue goes up and goes up dramatically. So on the business side, that's what you want to see. On the individual side, I think what the president's trying to achieve, again, is to help working Americans who are out there every day trying to just take care of their families.
Senator, what you're talking about is extending the current tax cuts. So we're already living in a world where these lower tax rates are in place for the most part. You're talking about some new add-ons that go to help working Americans, but the growth that you're going to see from that, from just extending it, is probably going to be limited to some extent because we're already living under that tax regime. And second of all, you have a lot of people in your party who are very concerned about the deficit getting blown out. We're already in a situation where we're spending 7 percentage points more than we're taking in revenue.
Yeah.
What happens if you lower the tax money that you're taking in? And again, you want to help working Americans, but that's where the money is too, because that's where the broad portions of the population are. How do you manage all of that and not look like you're blowing out the deficit even further?
Right, and I think the answer to that, Becky, is if you look at what is being proposed, and what I would argue is the thing that's different is permanence. If you do this on a permanent basis, Tax Foundation, for example, says you get another 1.8% GDP growth out of that, and that's a huge impact on government revenues. So you get more growth, you get more revenues. For every 1% increase in gross domestic product, the standard rule of thumb is about $3 trillion in additional tax revenue. So you've got to have pro-growth policies to deal with deficits and debt, and then you've also got to deal with restraining federal spending, which is the other objective
So what he's talking about would actually, in turn, raise $5+ trillion in added tax revenue. Now, that does kind of contradict the whole idea that we're going to get rid of income tax for people making, I don't know, less than $250, less than $150. I've heard a few different numbers. If they do that, then this math has to change a little bit. But again, what's the trade deficit do? What's that do for revenues for the country? There's just a lot of aspects. And then if we can get rid of a lot of the regulation, then that actually starts to make it, less expensive, essentially, to live and to have a business. And I think going forward, a lot of people are going to basically have their own business doing any number of things, but you're going to be specialized in what you do, and people are going to pay you based off of that. And that'll be your income, your job, Well, Republicans are stuck in the mud on the Trump tax bill. I guess we'll go ahead and play this little part here with this little story. It's not too long.
On ways to pay for President Trump's priorities when they return to Washington next week.
We all recognize that the real savings is going to be from Medicaid and other programs.
Florida Congressman Mike Herodopoulos told the Semaphore 2025 World Economy Summit Thursday that Medicaid cuts would help cover the president's planned tax breaks.
We have a responsibility to take care of our most vulnerable, but we're putting those people in jeopardy when illegals, people who truly don't qualify, or able-bodied Americans are preying on this system and taking from a system that is desperately needed by so many Americans.
Herodopoulos says those who are pregnant, have disabilities, and live in nursing homes would not see cuts to Medicaid. And last week, during the swearing in of his Medicare and Medicaid administrator, President Trump said,
"As I promised, there will be no cuts. We're not going to have any cuts. We're going to have only help."
Democrats warn this type of uncertainty is already impacting providers and their patients back home.
The margins are so slim, and huge concerns about how they predict, how they plan, and where do they go from here.
Virginia Senator Mark Warner says the Republican plan could devastate health care in his state.
Depending on how deep the Medicaid cuts go, we could see virtually every hospital west of Roanoke closed down.
Data from Virginia Health Information shows that would mean roughly 24 hospitals. GOP leaders want to vote on legislation by Memorial Day. In Washington, I'm Jesse Tenor.
The problem really is the way this is, one, being communicated. Obviously, the deep state's running with it, or the left, or whatever. I don't 6 of one, half a dozen the other. They are running with the idea that Medicaid's going to be cut. Now, what they're specifically saying, it seems, anyways, we'll see what the nitty-gritty actually works out to be, because I don't trust any politicians, really. There's very few of them, anyways, that I'm given a chance. But for the most part, no, I don't trust you. Are these cuts solely going to be for the illegal immigrants that are receiving funds? Now, again, I feel bad, sort of, for these people that have been promised a lot to come here, but sorry, like, you came here illegally. Like, you don't get rewarded for that. As much as you might have thought that was the plan all along, no. And definitely shouldn't be voting. And there's a lot of concerns around the way the system is currently set up and the way we're spending money. I mean, again, California, $10 billion deficit because of, yes, illegal immigrants receiving taxpayer-funded funds that should be going to taxpayers that need it, or actual Americans that maybe are in dire straits. But that's not, I don't know why, but that's not why the left, that's not how they think, that's not how they roll. It's not what they do, I guess. I don't know. GOP considered slapping big taxes on the Gates Foundation and others. This is one of the directions they were talking about going. Gates Foundation, the Rockefeller Foundation. And it talks about assets. With over $1 billion in assets, they're going to get a 10% tax on the investment income. That's kind of cool. I don't know how much that investment income is. I would assume at $1 billion, just interest. But I'm sure there's a lot of those assets that actually pay dividends. So there's probably quite a bit of money that comes in that way. And yeah, where's that been going? Who's been getting that? Who gets to enjoy that? Again, this is funny how these games play out. So I don't know. Again, going after the uber rich, I mean, yeah, I'm on board with that. Going after quote unquote the rich, the way inflation works, folks, you're going to be in that rich category sooner than you realize. You'll be like, I made $1 million and I still can't pay rent, right? Like, you're going to be like, it'll be ridiculous. So hopefully we can get this stuff fixed. I was trying to talk to my good Boston friend this morning, transplant from there. Obviously, he's retired out here. Guy's a wonderful dude. Love him. One of my best friends, I would say. Dude would give me his shirt in a heartbeat. He even kind of admitted that, yeah, we can't keep going in this direction. I mean, he was bummed that we're doing all this stuff. And he's like, well, nothing's happened for 40 years. And it's just like, yeah, but our debt number's gotten huge. And I was trying to explain it to him. I'm like, 1970, our debt was like $1 trillion. And then within I think 86, it went to $2 trillion. And then when you look at the way it's progressed and then how fast it's going up now, oh, dude, yeah, nothing happened for 40 years because nobody thought it mattered. Now it matters extraordinarily. So, yeah, do I like the idea of going after the uber rich? Totally. Can they move their stuff? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, wherever they go, they're going to get taxed. They'll probably get taxed worse elsewhere. I mean, whatever. Don't know. Trump signs 4 bills to roll back the Biden-era regulation. Signed 4 bills. I'm not going to play all the audio on them, but he signed a bill introduced. Let's see. This one repeals the Biden-era regulations related to consumer gas-fired water heaters. They wanted to go to electric, which was stupid, and Trump talks about how stupid that actually is, and everybody knows that. Electric just doesn't work right. Just doesn't, frankly. POTUS also signed the rescission of burdensome Biden-era energy standards for walk-in coolers and freezers, so this will help with restaurants and stuff like that. Signed a bill, rescission of the Biden-era regulating related to energy conservation standards for household appliances and consumer products. Got rid of that guy. And they also rescinded a Biden-era regulation on commercial refrigerators and freezers. I don't know how that one happens to be different than the other story, but nonetheless, it is there. So yeah, whatever. Common sense takes center stage as President Trump has signed an executive order redirecting illegal alien funds to build a national center for homeless vets. This is the kind of stuff that we should be spending our taxpayer dollars on. Now, again, Is our homelessness problem a huge problem? Yeah, it really is. We really, really, really need to come to terms. If we can stop wasting money on stuff that we shouldn't be wasting money on, I'd love to see us really tackle homelessness, maybe see rents come down for Christ's sake. There's a lot of things that need to happen to move forward. Nonetheless, we'll see. Again, a lot's got to happen quickly, kind of, because we got midterm elections. They either got to totally get us into elections we can trust. That's got to happen soon, or we're screwed, right? This is kind of make or break, man. That's all I can say. That's why I'm kind of all in, and that's why I keep thinking I'm going to give Trump his chance, because frankly, we got nothing better. There's people that are like, I can't believe that you're trading, Biden for that. He just wants to be a dictator. It's like, shit, no one else is fighting for us. Nobody else is fighting for us. I just hear people bitching about Trump. It just cracks me up. A couple major people I listen to from time to time that are freaking pissing the hell out of me off because they're constantly shitting on Trump. And it's like, who the fuck else was going to fight for us? Name one fucking person. I'm over it, man. Nobody else gave a shit. This dude was a freaking shield. He got sued all over the place. And people still are like, yeah, fuck him. F me? No, F you is kind of how I feel about it. Ed Martin, I think he feels the same way because he got shat on as the dude that was supposed to be running for the D.C. Court of U.S. Attorney. Thank you. Obviously, I say that like I knew that all along, though I was misreporting that. Whoops. U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia said, be careful what you wish for. Said Crossfire Hurricane documents are finally being revealed. Martin said, and he is turning his attention to Russiagate as well, insisting Americans should know why and how in our national intelligence classification system we allowed 51 intelligence officers to sign a lie. But that's the tip of the iceberg, with Martin praising Bondi for her work so far with the Herculean task of investigating the countless issues of weaponization. Quote, we've seen athletes being targeted, pro-life being targeted, Jack Smith being out of control, January 6th being destructive on citizens. We have a list that we are charged with from Attorney General Bondi that we're working through now. The list is going to expand because the president knows, like I do, that weaponization didn't stop with any single list. So Martin's going to pursue all the evidence wherever it takes him. He said, quote, we've got to get to the weaponization everywhere it is, he said, promising to pursue the truth, complete exposure, not a spin, not Liz Cheney, select committee of propaganda, total truth. And he's locked in on holding accountable those taking part in the government's role in the COVID conspiracy too. He said, quote, I've been working already in my office with Bobby Kennedy on COVID. This is Martin, I guess, told Boyle, right? Oh, yeah, Ed Martin, yeah. There were so many lies told to us on COVID, and again, we're going to get the truth out, and we're going to find out who did what and when. And look, Fauci was pardoned, but not everybody around Fauci was pardoned. So we're going to see who did what, and we're going to, again, tell the truth, get it out there, hold them accountable, and then people that were damaged, they're going to be able to heal and get pardoned if they need to. Martin's enthusiasm for a new role is clear. And with a man known in Washington and beyond for enthusiasm for his work, that's bad news for anyone in his sights. Quote, it's a great time to be alive, Martin said. There's a lot at stake, and I'm excited to be given a chance to do this with Mr. President Trump for these great people in government. So we've got an army coming together, folks. These are people that are very upset with the deep state bastards. A bunch of states sued the Trump administration over their termination of the funding for EV charging stations. This is many billions of dollars, 5. But these states obviously needed this for all sorts of stuff that they've been bleeding this money off. They've been borrowing this money. This money always is higher than it should really be for what it needs to do. And in most cases, we don't even get any return of investment at all. Like the broadband thing. 0 people were hooked up to broadband. 0 were hooked up to broadband. 0. So it's not good. Trump asked the Supreme Court to allow the cancellation of legal status for the 500,000 immigrants. These are the ones he's specifically going to from communist countries: Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela. I think they're all, well, Haiti's a mess. Cuba's communist. It's the same, though, because there's a lot of Cubans here, and they're friggin' awesome people. Nicaragua and Venezuela, though, are, not the best places. So he's asking the Supreme Court to take a look at that. Margot Cleveland posted this, and this is it's a pretty cool little post. It's her and Bill Sparrows, who knows? You probably know it better than I do. Margot says, huge development in Alien Enemies Act case that SCOTUS entered a stay for an entire class that had not been certified. District judge now denies class certification. Bill Sparrow says, explain this to me as if I am Tim Waltz. Very funny. Margot Cleveland says, 2 individual aliens sued to challenge removal under Alien Enemies Act and asked for the court to make it a class action so that every alien detained in the geographic area was automatically a plaintiff too. When court makes something a class action, they certify a class. Margot then says, the court refused to certify a class, so it is not a class action. Thus, any remedy, such as barring Trump from removing aliens under Alien Enemies Act, only applies to the 2 named plaintiffs, not every alien in the area, like they were initially trying to push. Steve Miller's got some very strong words. I like this guy. I hope he gets the NSA job. I think that would be cool as hell. I like this dude. Whatever the case is, he's fighting for us every damn day, too. This dude's a rock star.
Hold on, there's a question back there first.
I have 2 quick questions. First, President Trump has talked about potentially suspending habeas corpus to take care of the illegal immigration problem. When could we see that happen, do you think?
Well, the Constitution is clear, and that, of course, is the supreme law of the land, that the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus can be suspended in a time of invasion. So I would say that's an option we're actively looking at. Look, a lot of it depends on whether the courts do the right thing or not. At the end of the day, Congress passed a body of law known as the Immigration and Nationality Act, which stripped Article 3 courts, that's the judicial branch, of jurisdiction over immigration cases. So Congress actually passed, it's called jurisdiction stripping legislation. It passed a number of laws that say that the Article 3 courts aren't even allowed to be involved in immigration cases. Many of you probably don't know this. I'll give you a good example. Are you familiar with the term temporary protected status, or TPS, right? So by statute, the courts are stripped of jurisdiction from overruling a presidential determination or a secretarial determination on TPS when the Secretary of Homeland Security makes that determination. So when Secretary Noem terminated TPS for the illegals that Biden flew into the country, when courts stepped in, they were violating explicit language that Congress had enacted, saying they have no jurisdiction. So it's not just the courts aren't just at war with the executive branch, the courts are at war, these radical rogue judges, with the legislative branch as well too. So all of that will inform the choices the president ultimately makes, yes.
Mr. Miller.
I think that calls for rock star, wouldn't you? Donald Trump, today I signed an executive order to launch the first ever self-deportation program. This is freaking awesome.
Today I signed an executive order to launch the first ever self-deportation program for illegal aliens. We are making it as easy as possible for illegal aliens to leave America. Any illegal alien can simply show up at an airport and receive a free flight out of our country. We have also launched a phone app called CBP Home. That's CBP Home, where illegals can book a free flight to any foreign country. As long as it's not here, you can go anywhere you want. We're also adding a very important exit bonus for illegals to further incentivize their self-deportation. This deportation bonus will save American taxpayers billions and billions of dollars. What Biden did to this country can never be explained, will never, ever be accepted. Eventually, when the illegals are gone, it will save us trillions of dollars. However, if illegal aliens choose to remain in America, they're remaining illegally, and they will face severe consequences. Illegal aliens who stay in America face punishments including significant jail time, enormous financial penalties, confiscation of all property, garnishment of all wages, imprisonment and incarceration, and sudden deportation in a place and manner solely of our discretion. So to all illegal aliens, book your free flight right now. We want you out of America, but if you're really good, we're going to try and help you get back in. Thank you.
See, that's the thing. You give them a chance to do the right thing and actually become a citizen, which, by the way, is where I think a lot of us get pissed. Like, you're just here and you don't even want to be a citizen. You're not even trying to be. And then, especially when they start running around with the Mexican flag or a flag from another country, you're just like, you just, really? Like, this is what we're gonna do right now? Come on. President Donald Trump has called for the Department of Homeland Security to bring on 20,000 more immigration customs enforcement officers. Says he's giving them 60 days to do it. Not sure if they're going to be pulling them from all over the nation or how this works, but 60 days. I hope they've got a pretty deep recruitment roster, if you will, because they're going to need it. Nothing more than vindictiveness. New York Attorney General Letitia James claims that Trump is having her watched. Duh. Of course we're watching you, sweetheart. Duh. And we're looking forward to the day when you get busted for this stupid thing. It's going to be awesome. Of course, they went after Trump for, a crime that nobody got hurt. Nobody got damaged in any way, shape, or form. They just made up charges so they could go after him. Insanity. Well, she actually has done illegal things that did harm people. There is harm to the state, for that matter. So, yeah. And quite possibly, from an insurance standpoint, any tenants that live there could potentially be at risk of harm as well. Again, I don't know exactly how all the ins and outs of these things work per se, but yeah. Charles Barkley's he's just had enough. I think this dude's typically pretty left-leaning. With those glasses, I would have to assume so. Good Lord, man. Are you transitioning? I'm kidding, Charles. He would squish me like a bug. But I say, he's tired of it. And what he's saying matters, I think, more than almost anybody saying this, really.
I'm going to make this very simple for you, Dan. Men should not play sports against women. I'm not going to get into all the bullshit that's going on out here in the world today. If anybody think that, I think they're stupid. I'm not, like I say, I support the gay community 100%. I support the transgender community 100%. But I do not, under any circumstances, under zero, think that men should play sports against women. And if anybody have a problem with that, they're going to have to get over it, because I'm not going to change. I just think it's wrong, period. If people disagree with me, I'm good with that. Hey, we disagree. Yeah. I'm not mad at you. I don't hate you. I'm not going to call you names, because that's just silly and stupid. But I'm never going to think it's all right for men to play sports against women. And I don't even think that's controversial. That's the thing that's funny. Like some of this stuff make, like when you see these debates on television, like, yeah, men shouldn't play sports against women. I'm done. I don't want to hear you try to explain it to me. No, I don't want to hear it. I'm not going to argue with you. Men shouldn't play sports against women. I'm done. There's a lot of we can argue over. That ain't one of them.
I mean, even perfectly stated at the end. A lot of things we can argue over. That ain't one of them. Or if you didn't understand, that's what he was trying to say. Powerful here in California, just one of the senators. I love this woman for many reasons.
I don't have any questions, but I do have some comments. To say that this bill will not raise gas prices is not only absurd, it's downright irresponsible in the definition of gaslighting. This will raise gas prices. And my district is a super commuter district. And maybe you can't empathize with that, but we travel hundreds of miles every day, spending hours on the road. We sacrifice time with our families. We miss school events. We miss kids' games because we live where we can afford. And on top of that, we already pay astronomical prices for gas. People in my district are paying $600 to $800 just to get to work. That doesn't include utilities, groceries, which all go up when the price of energy and gas goes up. Let's be clear though here. Government is who makes the most on a gallon of gas, more than $1.60 in taxes and fees. And that's not big oil, that's government. And yet, instead of addressing the real reason gas prices are so high, this is only gonna make it worse. We can't afford EVs in my district, the cost of infrastructure or the cost of buying those EVs or even the time. Working people are hurting, and this is going to punish them even more.
So people are waking up. In California, you cannot, I mean, they're going to raise the gas prices a bunch. When they went over $6, people freaked out. And here's the thing, they don't have support for the system. We see it. We've seen the Palisades fire. We've seen the way they mismanage everything. And now here all of a sudden, gas prices are going to go through the roof, and now normal people won't be able to afford to even go to work. Because you're just cutting into that profit, if you will, of driving the distance to go to work. A lot here, like for example, a lot of people go up and move out into the Riverside area, Riverside County, basically. It's on the outskirts for sure. You don't live in the actual area, but it's significantly less expensive. So a lot of people were able to get really nice homes by, cashing out of something small, more towards the water and moving out there. Problem is it's super, super hot, and you still have to work back where you used to live. Make good money out in this area is where a lot of the money is. It's near the coast. So it's a problem. And when it cuts into your profits so much that you can't afford to do it anymore, that's where California's gotten itself. And they're still so poorly mismanaged, unlikely they're even going to be able to get this ever straightened out. I mean, at least the way it currently is. It's like Trump. He's got to do some radical stuff. They would literally have to do a Doge action. They would have to literally kick out a lot of the people that are milking off the system. They would have to do the right thing. We all know they don't want to. At some point, they're going to have to, and we'll make sure of that. But that is, it's part of the joy of where we're at right now. Want to remind you guys of Healthy Home. Love Healthy Home. Powerful products, and they help keep you healthy, help you focus on being healthy. Stem cells are the most important cell in your body when it comes to healing. They're cells that can become any other cell in the body. No other cell in the body can do that other than stem cells. Now, what Stem Active does is it helps your body activate its stem cell production, and it creates more of them by yourself. It's not putting stem cells in you. But here's what I noticed personally. I got a number of people that are firsthand accounts of betterments. Personally, dislocated shoulder. I was having pain when working out in my shoulder. Stem Active, I was probably in it 3 weeks, and I started to, I think it dawned on me after the effect. It might even have been the second day of no pain, and I was like, hang on a second, it actually didn't hurt when I did that exercise. So I noticed a huge difference in that. I've just noticed a big difference in general. I don't know, I heal. Sometimes I cut myself, things happen, right? Healing just happens quicker. I had a lady tell me with tick bites they get in their area, I guess. They're not as deep. They're healing way faster than they ever have before. She's using Stem Active. My girlfriend, calcification in her shoulder literally is better. I wouldn't say it's if you did an x-ray, I bet you'd probably still see the calcification. Whatever the case is, I don't know. Maybe not, because she's able to move a lot better now. She couldn't. It was like you just see her wince. A good friend, Lori. Laura. I don't know why I keep doing that to her, but she is also someone that's got some. She's a cop. She carries around a lot of gear. Sometimes it's not necessarily centered properly on the body, right? And so these cause some issues. And she's actually talked about how it made a major difference. So this is a powerful product that works. There's a gel, there's a pill. If you want pills, I like them. I think they're actually, $5-6 more. So you're going to have to pay more for it. Or you get the gel, just the liquid stuff. Balance is a hormonal balance to help with ladies that are kind of reaching that part of your life where your hormones just start to get all wiggity whack. This isn't hormones inside of you. It's actually helping your body kind of regulate and do that, and it does it with plant-based ingredients. It's transdermal, so literally you just put a little on your wrist, and then you rub your two wrists together, and it's like you're set for the day. Women are talking about sleeping better, feeling better, just mood support, right? Not the ups and downs. Temperature control is a lot better. Amaze is a collagen supplement, an incredible one at that. Stuff's the best. It's the collagen peptides. It is good. If you got sagging skin, sore muscles, joint discomfort, lifeless hair, it helps all those things. Nails, majorly helps. Collagen's hugely important. So get the collagen peptide with the Amaze product. It's freaking awesome. Prime is incredible when it comes to energy. I love it. I do it before I go to work out. It almost kicks in immediately. I think it expands your blood vessels out, basically, so more more oxygen's traveling through your body, and so wherever it goes, it helps more of. You know what I mean? It's just better. So Prime is fantastic. They were running a deal. It might still be going on. I would check, but they were running a pretty sweet little deal on with the Prime, free Prime, or something like that for Mother's Day. Might be going a hair longer, but go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Make sure you get that order going. If you guys aren't subscribed on your order, you should consider it at least, because you can actually save some money on that. And again, if you guys are going to join, which you can join 3 different ways. You can join as a customer, right? It's just basic stuff. You're going to pay kind of the highest price, but you can try it out without getting too crazy. There's member or there's executive member. The only difference really is executive member. Well, there's a lot of differences. Executive members, you get better pricing. You're also, you just have to buy a thing. You just have to buy a product. Like you want to get STEM Active, you can buy one thing. You can get package deals they've got. You can possibly get free shipping. There's package deals with pluses. You get free shipping forever on your account. There's a lot of really, really cool stuff you can choose from. You just go down the path and look to see what you want to buy and if it makes sense. Right? But it's, I think, the best way to go. You get literally the best pricing, and actually you kind of create your own little team if you ever want to. But if not, you get the best pricing for yourself. It's the best way to go. Big time. So go to danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. That's danradiostyle.healthyhome.com. Make that healthy choice, and you're going to actually see a lot of benefits in your life. Check it out. All right, we got more news. I'm doing okay. Duffy is going to allow exemptions to extend retirement age for the air traffic controllers. I think this is the dude for the FAA, right? Transportation Secretary. Sorry, Sean Duffy. Exemptions. I didn't know this, and it was to increase the retirement age. I think this was mandatory retirement, which is interesting. So it used to be 56, which, let's be honest, I don't know. I mean, let's be honest. That's really young. If you can pull off retirement at 56, good on you. Nowadays, we're supposed to live longer, though we've lost some health span because of people making poor choices. But they're going to raise it from 56 to 61. And you remember France did this, and they pissed off people. It was retirement age across the board, but this is specifically for air traffic controllers, which obviously we have an issue with right now. Maybe a bunch of people are planning on retiring. Who knows? It's weird that that's coming out, but all right. A federal judge in San Francisco halting all large-scale firings by the Trump administration. Well, this is phenomenal. This is so probably far outside her power, but whatever. It's fine, right? At this point, we expect these things. But yeah, District Judge Susan Ilston in San Francisco. Gotta figure, of course. This is, there's some labor unions. I don't know if they're in every single state. They might be, and that's probably what they've been shopping for, is like the proper client. Like, oh, you're everywhere, right? Oh, sweet, let's do you. We'll do you. We'll make you the lawsuit, and then we can shut everything down. Fine, whatever. She's a Clinton appointee. Shouldn't surprise anyone. So there you go. Obviously, she was probably very young when Clinton appointed her. Because I'm not trying to be nice to her, but she doesn't look as old as Clinton or Hillary. Those two look like they used to F dinosaurs. Is what it looks like to me. The Trump administration has fired the head of the U.S. Copyright Office. The only reason I bring this up is, what's weird about it is she was actually hired by that librarian at Congress that they just fired. I don't know what's going on. There's something really weird about these two chicks getting fired. I mean, maybe they just fully suck at their job, or they were doing something. I mean, she's got that look. I wouldn't trust her with anything. I wouldn't want to probably either. But yes, I don't know. She, the firings of Register of Copyrights Shira Perlmutter came after Perlmutter and her office earlier this week issued part 3 of a lengthy report about artificial intelligence and expressed some concerns and questions about the usage of copyrighted materials by AI technology. And I think Trump's like, dude, you're stupid. Everybody else is going to use copyrighted material. China, our enemies, they're going to use it. And here you are trying to hamstring us with stupid rules that nobody else is following. All you're doing is making us weak. And you're trying to be moral in your stupid little weird virtue signaling way. So, yeah, get the F out. You're not helping this situation at all. So, good. Bye-bye. Too bad. So sad. Not that she's Asian. I don't know why I'm using that accent, but whatever. So this is going to make some people happy, especially my friend at the gym. The Trump DOJ has launched an investigation into the proposed Muslim-only Epic City in Texas. Somebody there got paid off by the Muslims. They were going to have it be Sharia law only and not really American law. It was going to be a 402-acre site that was going to do this. A smart city, basically. Or well, yeah, you get the point. Now, how long before they got friggin' Scud missiles in there they're manufacturing? Kid you not. They're probably going to have their own capital. Yeah, this was happening in Texas, folks. Most people probably didn't even know that. This chick is awesome. This chick's not awesome. It's awesome that she's going to jail, and I know she's going to cry. And the first thing I can hear her saying as an excuse for why they can't arrest her is, "I've got a dog." Yeah, and the police are going to be like, "Yeah, we can put him in a pound if you want." What do you mean? Huh? He's my emotional support animal. This chick's spit on the DC Ed Martin guy. Spit on him. We got the video. It's pretty jacked up to the bone, as they would say. Little biatch.
And so we need to get really focused. How you doing? Oh, whoa.
You are a disgusting man.
Says the girl that just spit on somebody. I don't know. Pot kettle? Just saying. Funny how it works. Yeah, so anyway, the cops they know who she is, U.S. Marshals, because you just spit on a U.S. official. This isn't like D.C., their courts get to handle this. It's like, no. This is going to get handled in a totally different way. So this chick is, I don't know if she's been arrested yet. We'll find out, but yeah, she's going to be arrested. That's assault. You can't do that, especially possible biological warfare from that standpoint. You could have some nastiness. Obviously, something's wrong with you, so that could be a sickness. You might have zombies stuff or something. Spit on me, and, that's the F around part. And then, yeah, she's finding out. Freight fraud, cargo theft, deadly collisions, ghost carriers are growing. National security threat. I don't know. I think the purpose of this story is to freak you out that there's a bunch of people that probably shouldn't be working and driving trucks in this country right now because they're probably not even legal, and these trucks maybe aren't even in good shape, and who knows what happened on this particular case, but terrorists and stuff. But this is 8 seconds and just like, holy crap. Yeah. Holy crap. I mean, I feel like that's fair. That's fair. That's nasty, gnarly. I assume somebody died. 2 of these people operating this, they were on work visas. 2 of them have been killed. One of them, I think they were like Ukrainian, by the way. So who knows what they even had in there? Like, who knows what's going on? Maybe that's just how they... In Russia, we drive through people. It's easier. Brakes. So this is weird. General Flynn's asking this question, and it's a good question to be asked. Apparently, it's not Jim Hoft, isn't it? .com? Oh, is he doing his own thing now? Wasn't he same? Wait, isn't that? Shiz. Isn't that the? Damn it! Isn't that the same dude? Oh, okay, I see. Anywho, Jim Hoft, is as I destroy my own self. I think he's the dude. I'm drawing a blank on the stupid name of the website. Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. I've wasted so much time just trying to think of it. I don't even care for all the emails I get. I don't care, but yes, for sure. Bloom, no, whatever. Brick. It's one I don't like to use because they're really scandalous. Anyway, however the case is, AG Pam Bondi, please confirm you are aware of this personal decision. This decision he's talking about is that Jim Comey's daughter, she was the prosecutor in the Epstein and Maxwell case. She's now the prosecutor in the P. Diddy case. She's also been a prosecutor in another case, I believe it was. A couple. It's too much of the weird. Too much of the weird. SDNY, they're tied into all that. Specifically, Comey's daughter. Yeah, this just reeks. So, yeah, Mike Flynn, General Flynn's like, I hope you know about this, Pam Bondi. What the hell? What is this? We'll see if that changes. U.S. Marshals set to arrest D.C. woman. Oh, there was that. Yeah, I guess maybe. Let's see. Fraud. I already did that. So I'm just, catching up, redoing stories because they're fun. That's that. Okay. I'm making progress here. Texas judge indicted for voter fraud along with 5 others in a vote harvesting scheme. So, yeah, 3 counts of vote harvesting for the judge. We got county election administrator, 1 count of tampering and or fabricating physical evidence. The county election administrator. We've got one city council member. We've got another city council member. We've got an ISD trustee and a vote harvester, just, I guess, the worker. Rosa Rodriguez. She got 2 counts. Needless to say, you guys are trying to shut some of that down. Texas was close to having problems. Now, New Jersey. Very interesting what's going on. First of all, there's a lot of weird stuff going on out there right now. Weird stuff. And so there might be some more arrests coming, too, for that matter. Air traffic control equipment outage, again, impacts flight at New Jersey Airport. I don't know how long it was this time. 45 minutes? Holy shit. 45 minutes. FAA had to stop stoppage. Just you can't even go into there. It took 45 minutes. What we're finding out is Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy is planning to reduce the number of flights in and out of Newark Liberty International Airport. Newark is the biggest city in New Jersey. International airport travel is a huge amount of money that comes into the state city, both. The taxes, the fees, there's so much BS that airports pay, or like the airlines pay. It's insane. Cutting back the number of flights is drastically reducing the amount of money Newark gets, as well as New Jersey gets. What did we also find out? Well, Newark Mayor Ras Baraka, he was arrested. He was trespassing. They snuck into an ICE facility. They thought they could get away with this. It's against the law to do that. They were told multiple times to leave. They didn't. They got arrested. In fact, it gets worse even, which is funny. But the mayor of Newark, Ras Baraka, committed trespass and ignored multiple warnings from Homeland Security investigations to remove himself from the ICE detention center in Newark, New Jersey this afternoon. He has willingly chosen to disregard the law that will not stand in this country. Alina Habba is who said that, and she's in charge of the U.S. attorney or whatever she is for there. Interesting how this happens to be where she's from, I understand, but now it's being used against them because no one's above the law. You can't break the law. Even if you morally think you're superior, you broke the law. Can't do it. No one's above the law. Rep. McIver says, I did not body slam anyone. ICE created that confrontation. She does. She will. I'll show the video. They play it here at the very beginning. I think I've got it again one more time or another angle or something. But this is, it looks to me like, I'm going to implant it in your mind. I apologize, but it'll help, I think, also when you see it. But it to me looks like she uses her momentum and body to sort of like push an officer. Like kind of ran into her / I think they use body slam is wrong. To me, it looked like like a check or a block, like in football, right? When you hit up hard against them to try to knock them down or knock them out of the way, where you're allowed to. I'm not trying to get into the rules here, but so again, interesting. I don't know. So here's the video. Let's see if I get better quality. Hell yeah! Look at that. Love it. Check it out.
Red blazer as we show them. The DHS says that obviously that there were chaos, that maybe you were trespassing. You can talk about that. But the DHS also says that, in their words, you were body slamming an ICE officer. Is that what we're looking at? Is that what happened?
So you saw that where she kind of, kind of bumps her. I don't know. Let's see if I can get back to it, sort of. Let's see. Try it again.
Can talk about that. But the DHS also says that, in their words, you were body slamming an ICE officer.
And she had her arm up. I mean, she actually had her arm up, right? She had that fist start like that, like when she did it. Yeah. Body slam, weird choice of words, and they're getting all hung up on the words. I did not body slam anyone. Yeah, I don't think she body slammed her either. Definitely assaulted her. And call it whatever you want. Assault is easier because that's what it was. Body slam, no. Body slam's like, it's like, come on. If you never watched wrestling, you don't know what a body slam is? Or at least jumping down on them and slamming them with your body? One of the two. None of that happened. That would have been rad. Kind of why I friggin' watched it. So yeah, Rep. Watson Coleman, if ICE produces body slam footage, that is manufactured. Well, the footage is out.
Have occurred. End quote. I want to bring in now one of the other congresswomen who was at that protest, Congresswoman Bonnie.
I don't think we want to play this, but yeah, I think there was a place. I thought, yeah, they just played the same thing again. So, yeah, again, everybody's saying it didn't happen. It didn't happen. It wasn't illegal to be there. Yeah, you guys aren't necessarily the law, though. Here's the thing. You broke the law. A lot of people that break the law always say, I didn't break the law. Of course you say that, but you broke the law. Needless to say. DHS spokeswoman confirms body cam footage likely to lead to more arrests. There will likely be more arrests coming. We have body cam footage. All right, let's play this. This will be fun.
We should let viewers know there will likely be more arrests coming. We actually have body camera footage of some of these members of Congress assaulting our ICE enforcement officers, including body slamming a female ICE officer. So we will be showing that to viewers very shortly.
You say a
The
video
American
of
people should know
members
the
of
facts.
Congress body slamming ICE
That's correct.
officials?
That's correct, sir. It's disgusting.
Okay, and so if you have that video, are you suggesting that members of Congress will be arrested who were there yesterday?
This is an ongoing investigation, and that is definitely on the table.
Who has the video?
ICE does, and we will be releasing that very shortly.
Okay. Let's talk about...
I wonder if that's what Trump's going to, admit to. Like, there's going to be arrests of some congressional members who broke the law. I mean, I don't know. He'd probably stay out of it. I don't know how that's going to play out. But, yeah, it sounds like that lady's going to get in jail. And see, she's not protected inside of Congress where they can say whatever they want and spout off all sorts of crazy stuff while they're in session or in chambers or whatever the shit they call it, right? But when you're out on the street, no, sweetheart. Oh, no. And Capitol Police can arrest her. So, again, there's not like she can hide inside the Capitol from the government. Ohio Republican Party is endorsing Vivek Ramaswamy for governor. Hopefully that goes well for you Ohioans. We'll see. FDA is greenlighting the expansion of the natural food colorings, just in case you were wondering. They've got the artificial ones are being phased out. They've got some new ones coming in that are natural based, just plants and stuff like that. So minerals, plants, all that good stuff. Donald Trump says, I'm very proud of the strong and unwavering, powerful leadership of India and Pakistan for having the strength, wisdom, and fortitude to fully know and understand that it was time to stop the current aggression that could have led to the death and destruction of so many and so much. Millions of good and innocent people could have died. Your legacy is greatly enhanced by your brave actions. I am proud that the USA was able to help you arrive at this historic and heroic decision. While not even discussed, I am going to increase trade substantially with both of these great nations. Additionally, I will work with you both to see if, after 1,000 years, a solution can be arrived at concerning Kashmir. God bless the leadership of India and Pakistan on a job well done. Now, there was another dispute, or another break of the ceasefire, they say, that happened in that region. Again, the deep state's probably trying to push this off. They've still got some bad people there, but I think larger, smarter heads are still holding to this ceasefire, and they're going to let it be somewhat regionalized the way it is, and hopefully people can get control of their people. There might have been a small delay in getting that messaging out. Again, a lot of these guys aren't necessarily using cell phones, because if you're using a cell phone and you're out in the field and you're a troop, anybody can see you. You're like broadcast. A lot of people don't realize that. They don't have cell phones when they're out in combat. Or if they do, they have very specific equipment. It's not like your regular cell phone that's just constantly pinging. Everybody would see you from the satellite or from anywhere. I mean, just instantly target you just based off that ping. Western allies pressure Russia to accept a 30-day ceasefire starting Monday. This ceasefire is obviously going to happen. It's weird how people are grandstanding. So Western allies, the Western world, Britain, France, Germany, and Poland are like, yeah, you better accept this 30-day ceasefire. Trump's already been talking all this. Trump's the one that's been making this deal happen, and now all of a sudden, everybody's on board. Whatever. What the frick ever. All the cokeheads are, Zelensky, yeah, because he was apparently on an interview. I didn't know he was with him. Makes sense now. I'm not sure whose blow it was, I guess. I mean, I didn't see Hunter there, so we could probably rule him out, but could have been Zelensky's, could have been Macron. I think they're the two that probably carry. I'm just saying. They strike me as that. Sturmer just likes hanging out with him because he's like, yeah, I get to do coke. It's pretty cool. I always enjoy hanging out with Macron. His boyfriend's cute, too. President Putin of Russia doesn't want to have a ceasefire agreement with Ukraine, but rather wants to meet on Thursday in Turkey to negotiate a possible end to the bloodbath. Ukraine should agree to this immediately, and at least they will be able to determine whether or not a deal is possible, and if it is not, European leaders and the U.S. will know where everything stands and can proceed accordingly. I'm starting to doubt that Ukraine will make a deal with Putin, who's too busy celebrating the victory of World War II, which could not have been won, not even close, without the United States of America. Have the meeting now, Trump says. So, again, trying to get the ball rolling, trying to get things happening. Western states want Ukraine conflict to continue. This is what the EU leaders are saying. It's like just a couple of these EU countries, but they ultimately want this to continue because of the money that's involved and what everything that's happening. So again, it's part of the pain that's being played out and needs to for Europe's sake. I mean, I think Europe needs to free itself at some point, and we'll see when that finally does happen. Putin proposes unconditional peace talks with Ukraine. So again, he's kind of opening the door. He's like, look, no conditions. Just let's talk. Let's just see what's up. I mean, obviously, Zelensky's going to get in there and he's like, look, you got to give me all my land back. And Putin's going to be like, but you're going to kill those people. We can't have that. You hate them. Why would we do that? Right? I don't necessarily need to keep it, but I want to make sure they're in good hands, right? So then that's where the negotiations kind of start to go. And Zelensky can't just be a total dick because he's getting his ass handed to him and he's running out of people to kill in his own country. It's bound to not work well for his longevity. U.S. defense system fails for the second time this week amid Houthi missiles on Israel. I don't know, they're bad-mouthing the THAAD system right now, or they're saying essentially that because of its extended use, they've actually figured out, the Houthis themselves have actually figured out how to counteract it, pass by it, get by it. They've managed to make their missiles probably shaky enough or something to where they move too much and can't be easily hit with the THAAD system, or at least the current software that's on it, which is likely what's going to be the fix. Senators Cotton and Graham worked to sabotage the chance of an Iran deal. They basically both said, look, here's the deal. You either get rid of all your enrichment ability, which is all the centrifuges. You can't have a centrifuge at all. Those are the ones where you can supposedly enrich it to a higher level, and it can still be used commercially, but you don't need that to actually just use it the safe way commercially. Right? So the big difference is allowing them to enrich. And that they're basically saying, look, here's the deal. Either we destroy it, we blow it up, it stops working, you decide to dismantle it, whatever. But there's no place, there's no path and forward where you guys aren't nuclear free. The ability to go weapons grade on it is gone, done, removed. Now, Senators Cotton and Lindsey Graham, the two biggest war hawks, the two biggest, I don't want to say dicks. Lindsey Graham, I don't have a lot of respect for. Wow, he's short. I didn't realize this dude's a giant, whatever the case is. But Cotton is a total war hawk. These guys obviously are making money off a lot of this stuff in some weird back channel way. Whatever the case is, they're definitely establishment, but they seem to be playing nice. So maybe they're just more on the industrial complex side of things. Who knows? I don't like Graham. That's one thing. Cotton, I don't know. He sometimes does good stuff. Prospects of Saudi ties to Israel elusive as Trump seeks $1 trillion bonanza. There's, I guess, some behind-the-scenes stuff going on. U.S. officials are quietly pressing Israel to agree to an immediate ceasefire in Gaza. One of the Saudi Arabia preconditions are for any restart of normalization talks. Now, there is a rumor floating around that Trump could recognize Palestine. That would be crazy. That would just be kind of wild, and that would really be a slap on the face to Israel. Well, what came out was Ambassador Mike Huckabee posted this in regards to the Jerusalem Post story where this leak has come from, or this story came from. He says, at Jerusalem Post, needs better sources than this unidentified source. My 4-year-old grandson Teddy is more reliable. And take it from Teddy. This report is nonsense. At Israel doesn't have a better friend than at POTUS. So again, fake stories being put out everywhere. Want to remind you guys of the wellness company, twc.health/OTF. That's TWC.health/OTF. Again, just great products. Bestsellers. They got the, really, I think the ivermectin mebendazole. This is your trifecta. This is your parasite cleanse. This gets rid of all the nasty stuff. All the nasty stuff is in that parasite cleanse. So again, 90-day oral. You got 25 milligrams of ivermectin. It's a pretty hearty dose of ivermectin. You're going to do this for 90 days. And you're also getting 250 milligrams of mebendazole. This is one-stop shop when it comes to making some major improvements in the body in a reasonably short period of time. I think a lot of you guys probably understand what I'm talking about in that regard. Contagion Kit is a big one. That's got the ivermectin. It's got the hydroxychloroquine. It's got some other really good antiviral stuff. It's a really good Contagion Kit, and it's refillable at a reduced price if you get it and end up needing it. And it's one of those things where I believe there's enough meds in there to get probably 2 people through a bad weather, but it's for one, right? So I'm not the doctor. This is for one person. But yeah, needless to say, look at it, check it out. A lot of great stuff, a lot of great products, anti-aging stuff as well. There's a lot of antioxidant stuff, and it's just very good products that they put together. The Wellness Company, you've got doctors, what the hell is this? The dude that was on Love Lines, and then McCullough, Drew Carey, Dr. Drew, that guy. Good Lord, that hurt. TWC.health/OTF. That's TWC.health/OTF. Make those healthy choices, folks. I'm telling you. And get rid of those parasites. Jaguars, this whole weird thing happens for this ad agency. It's just a very woke commercial. They fired the ad agency. They basically did a Budweiser move, and it hurt them bad. Their sales tanked. Or essentially, they've now sacked the old advertising agency. But yeah, these guys went very, very woke and got busted badly. All right, let's see if we're lucky and maybe Trump's got an updated thing. No. Look at that, guys. So I don't know. Be paying attention to Trump in his next post because it could be a big deal. We'll see what plays out. We'll see how it plays out. Maybe Trump's just taking some time on truth for a moment, and then tomorrow morning he's going to post something. Who knows? Who knows what's going on? Dude can't stay quiet that long. It hurts him. We'll find out. I love you guys. We're going to continue moving forward, shoulder to shoulder. We're doing this together. I don't know. It's what it's all about for me. Where we go one, we go all. It's On the Fringe with Dan Radio Style.